Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. You read the title, you saw the thumbnail. We got us a Moog Mavis here. It's a nice little semi-modular dealy-dally dealio, and you know what? I gotta say, pretty fond of it. Special thanks to DistroKid for sponsoring this video, and we'll talk about them in a sec, but let's take a look at the raver maver for just a moment. The maver raver, the mad raver maver. So the Mavis is kind of like a spiritual successor to the Workstot. It comes in a, the same sort of little kit form, and you just kind of pop it all together. Super duper easy. Kind of makes you wonder why they even had it as a kit. But it comes with a case that seems like it's just itching to be drilled into and modded up, and it continues Moog's age-old tradition of naming synths weird shit. So that's pretty cool. You know what? I gotta say, this is a wonderful entry point, and it's also an amazingly appealing option to any Eurorack enthusiast or just like synth person who wants to add a Moog voice to their arsenal. It's just wonderful. It's a monophonic Moog synth voice with a pretty interesting little wave folder and a couple of rudimentary utilities, but the patch bay allows you to really bring all of these kind of concepts to their absolute maximum potential, and it's fun as heck. And I've been getting a lot of really cool sounds out of it, and I can see how this would be super duper appealing for just a lot of people. So you know what? Let's take a look at it. And I'll give you my little first opinions here and a rundown of what's going on, and you can decide for yourself if you think it's real cool or not. All right, before we get into it, though, we're going to talk about the sponsor of the video today, the channel's first sponsor. It's pretty cool, pretty fun. DistroKid. They're actually a pretty neat little service there. So what do they do, Wes? What is it that DistroKid does? DistroKid is a distribution service, and what that means is they help anybody, and I mean anybody, get their music onto a bunch of awesome platforms for anybody else to hear. We're talking Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, which is a brand new thing that I'm really excited to try out, and we're going to experiment with uploading some music on DistroKid here in a later video. Because if you're anything like me, you've always been curious of what it takes to, get some tunes up on Spotify or Apple Music, and, income be damned, it might just be fun to get some music heard. So DistroKid is the easy, fast place to make all that happen. You can just upload your songs. They take care of all the funny business and make it happen for you. If you want to try it out on your own, there's a link in the bio. You can sign up, get 7% off your first year. It's dirt cheap, y'all. And you can upload as much as you want. It's real fun. So stay tuned, and we're going to play around with that a whole bunch more in the future. But for now, let's get back to talking about Mavis. All right, so let's take a look at what's going on here. Let's just break down the front panel here and investigate what's going on here in Moog Mavis Town. So an interesting decision that they made, kind of breaking away from the rest of their semi-modular stuff. They put the patch bay on the left here, which, if you've got a mother or anything like that, you'll notice that, those are all on the right because they stack up. But yeah, they put this one on the left, and at first I was like, oh, this is weird. But then I remembered that they make that 104 case, and I was like, oh, well, if you wanted one of their other semi-modular things and then this guy, hey, that's a perfect amount for those two, and then a Euro power supply with 4 HP to spare there. So actually, and then having those patch bays right next to each other, kind of cool. So yeah, maybe the reasoning behind that, maybe not. But the patch bay is on the left now. They did keep the patch bay kind of scheme the same here, so the boxed jacks are going to be outputs and the non-boxed ones are going to be inputs, pretty easily labeled right up there. For outputs, we've only got a few here. So, the keyboard CV out, this guy, and then your 1-2 mixer, which is 1 and 2, and then your just one output. your VCO, LFO envelope, your sample and hold, an attenuator, and then 2 spots for a mult. So, you know, kind of a slimmed down patch bay, but you've got enough here to get some work done. So, okay, so let's take a look at what else we've got going on the panel here. Your utilities, your wave folder. You have to patch in to use the wave folder, which is kind of interesting, but it's also very cool because it breaks the normal from the VCO to the filter. So if you want to patch something else in, like an oscillator from another part of your system or just like anything, you can go right into the fold and you don't have to use the wave folder. You can just like, you know, pass it through. But the wave folder is pretty good. It's a pretty rudimentary wave folder, but you know, whatever. The other utilities you've got are kind of this multi-purpose mixer that's 1 and 2. You have an output for 1 and it lets you set the level, and then you have an output for both of them, but 2 is just straight signal. And then you've got an attenuator right here, which is, you know, pretty nifty for all sorts of things like LFO, Trillin, and things of that nature. Your other sort of modulation parameters are down here. You've got a real rudimentary LFO that just kind of lets you wave shape between triangle and square. And then you've got a full ADSR, which works just the way you would expect it. And then you've got a nice little keyboard down here with glide and this kind of keyboard scaling, which changes the scaling with which you know, play on that little keyboard there. The one thing that I don't love is that the keyboard kind of sets the like bass pitch of the VCO, and no matter what you do when you're patching in here, in my explorations at least, I couldn't get the keyboard to unnormal from the VCO. So, you know, if there's a way to do that, I haven't discovered it yet. But patching into the volt per octave doesn't do it. Patching out of the keyboard CV doesn't do it. So, yeah. Who knows there? On the actual voice side of your synth, you've got a pretty great little Moog oscillator here. You know, saw to square, exactly what you'd want from Moog. Some easy normalizations for the pitch and the pulse width there. And then the filter sounds pretty good to me. It's a Moog filter for sure. It sounds very, very Moogy. The one thing I did notice, however, is that at high resonances, there's a little bit of bass suck, you know? So here, I'll try to illustrate this. So... You hear that? So yeah, there's a little bit of bass suck there, but you know, this can be pretty easily remedied by just setting stuff up to be real nice, you know. But, you know, comes with the territory. And then your VCA is pretty dead stock. It's got a normalization to the envelope generator, or you could just hammer it on here, you know, and just have it drone for you. You do have a CV for the VCA right there as well. Oops, see, boop, touching keys. So yeah, that's a pretty basic rundown of the panel here. It's a very rudimentary set of utilities, but they are all very characteristically Moog, which is a pretty big draw for me, and I feel like it's really going to be appealing for a lot of beginners, as well as, you know, an experienced user or somebody who's got a full-on Eurorack system. This is a full-on Moog voice for like $350 that you could just pop in there. You can use the filter, the wave folder, whatever you want. So it's a pretty nifty little deal here. I like it, you know. So yeah, let's take a look at what makes it kind of cool and interesting and hear it. So all you got to do is plug it in and you're instantly rocking. The normalizations take care of the basic signal flow, and you know, fat, nice, good. Sounds real Moogy. If you want to hear the wave folder, you got to go VCO out here into wavefold in, and then you will instantly hear this guy, right? you know, that's a pretty welcome change. It gives you a lot of timbral options here with this guy. You know, even though you only have kind of the variable 2 waves here, you got a lot more that you can make happen with this wave folder. Really, really quickly, with very few patch points, you can get some pretty gnarly shit here. So, like... as you can see, this thing's fun on a bun. It's got the fun on a bun soft seal of approval. And I really like it. I dropped it in my Eurorack a couple of days ago, and it was just really, really nice to have some Moogy character stuff in there. This thing's absolutely great for like kicks and stuff too. You get going with a voltage block on this thing or like a Variegate 8, and you can completely just pop off with some amazing style percussion. It's got really, really nice, easy ways to get some good kicks here. Like, look, let's take a look here. Ooh, I love rubbery kicks like that. They're just like, or like zippery kicks like that. Mako, one of the niftiest little features here is the LFO. That, you know, yeah, LFO, but it can go way up into audio rate here. Like, let's take a listen here. You can just quickly go LFO out, in to 2, and then come 2 out, right? And then into fold, and then we can hear this. That's the LFO wave right there, right? Getting folded. Right? So that's pretty nifty here. And then if we take the keyboard CV out and go into LFO rate, it pretty much tracks volt per octave, which is very, very awesome, right? So let's turn this back on again here. So that's cool. And what we can do now is why don't we just patch our VCO back in there, right? Okay, cool. And that's on our 1 level here, right? So the way this patch is going real fast, I know we did that all real fast. So LFO is going out into 2. So just straight full force LFO into this little mixer. And then the VCO is going into 1. We got control over it right here. And then both of those are going into our wave folder. So we're going to listen to this no wave folded right now, right? And so that's very, very nice sounding, if I do say so myself. And you basically got kind of like a little detuned wave here, and you know, we can do whatever we want with this from here. So we could actually even apply a little bit of FM to the 1 wave if we wanted here with this pitch mod guy. Here, let's listen to this happen, right? All right, so that's pretty fun right there. It's a nice little sound. And you know what it is also? Incredibly different than what we started with here. And so this is just one quick little, exploration that we've done here. And this is all just what we've got built in. So we've turned this LFO into essentially a second oscillator and then used it to both lightly FM the first oscillator and then compound it. We combined it with the initial wave here, and then we wave folded it, threw it through a Moog filter, and all of that on this very rudimentary set of utilities and synth bits. So don't underestimate this device. Don't underestimate any sort of semi-modular synth like this. It's all about how you use these tools that you're given. I know you wanted me to do this at least once, right? Because I've been wanting to do it. And yeah, that's kind of my Moog Mavis. My first thoughts here is that I think this is an amazing little box. I think it's going to be great for anybody who's looking to get started with semi-modular stuff. There's a lot of things to explore here and a really great platform to just dive in and do a lot of fun stuff. And say what you will, Moog has a pretty damn good sound. It's rich and timeless, and they do it really, really well. So, this gets the softer seal of fun on a bun approval, and check it out. There'll be some links in the bio and all that whiz biz. Make sure to check out that distrokid thing, and let's hear a few other sounds and stuff like that, and see what else this can do. Right? Let's play around. This is kind of cool here, right? So we can use that low-end SUCC as almost a high EQ here where we're running shit through it, right? All right, y'all, and that's the video for today. As always, if you liked it and you had some fun, maybe learned some cool stuff, then you could slap that subscribe button or hit that like button, leave a comment, do whatever. You can always join the Discord. We are having all sorts of fun over there, and links down in the description. Clicking on buying stuff helps channel grow, helps us, feed Mr. Mako. That's my dog, if you didn't know. We did get a rap on one of the last videos. Or I don't know if it was a rap. It was kind of a poem. But you know what? we're going to try to wrap that rap over some breaks. Maybe next time too, you know? Look at me making all these promises. As always, thanks for watching, and we will see you later. Can I just say that, like, I'm sure there's a story behind the name Mavis and everything like that, but I mean, all I think when I hear Mavis is like gas station attendant in like rural Illinois, you know, who like smokes a lot of Virginia Slims or something like that, you know? So, I mean, no hate to the Mavises out there. We love everybody and all kinds of names, but that's just the image it conjures for me, and I just don't know.